Just going to clean this half down with meths. And careful using paper as wipes, because it breaks up. You're better off with a piece of t-shirt. Cotton's about the best. Just getting the grease off here. Right, I'm going to use silicone. That's the stuff I'm using at the minute. What is it? Sealants for Industry, Trust Seal, RTV, silicone sealant. Suitable for use as gaskets. I think I've used Hylamar in here as well. Bit like the Karate Kid, wipe on, wipe off. Just want the slightest smear around here. And I'm going to seal that front up as well, because when I undone the engine, this engine mount, this must have had a big cup full of water in it. So I take it water's just got in. Right, I silicone this side because it's got the ridge on. And then the silicone ain't going to squidge past. So a bit of oil on them bushes. Oil that stud. Literally just what's on my fingers. On my fingers plus a bit. Right, a bit of oil in that bearing housing. Right, go back to the crankcase. Right, here's the prepared case. I'll just move them out there. Right, it's all cleaned off, all degreased. Shove some oil on that bearing. Don't mind being generous with the oil on this bit. Right. Right. And they should slide together. That's it. Together. Put that back in there. Right, I'm going to put the crankcase bolts in. Right, have some bolts in. Now I don't want them clavered with oil, but I want a smear of oil on them. So what's on my fingers, that'll do. I'm not going to put them in tight for now. I've blown all the blank holes out. No good one. Put that one on. Right, now literally all of them, they're just nipping on that case now. Really just give these a bit of a nip just to get it up to the case. But I'm just going round the crank bolts now they're in the now I've lifted it up. Lay a little turn on each one and get them all touching, and then do them like opposites. Yeah, I'm going to whiz round here. I think I've got them. Yep. Yep. And yep. Right. It's nipped up nice. Right, before I bust shit out my conrods. Yeah, there's only that conrod bolt. Oh well, when I get the regrind, a new set of rods. I'm not sure whether we can see this flash rust in there. It's the atmosphere over here. It's full of wet. You see, one day that I have to clean that out now. Right, there's plenty of squirt and it's washed out. Right, you see how much has accumulated. That's overnight, that. Rust. Yeah, I'll have a bit of that in there to stop that again. Yeah, I think I've got the most of it anyway. Right. I think I should put that in the frame maybe. Or maybe put the gearbox in, then put it in the frame. Right, what I've done here, I've put the wrong selector on first. Now the first thing you'll notice, I don't know whether you can see, but you can't get the pin into the hole. It just won't allow you to. Because, well, the selector arms look very, very similar to each other, but one is a different radius. So I'll just clag that other one on and see if we can see. Now you can see immediately there that the hole in there is lined up. Yep, and then that bar will go in. So that, it's not much of a difference between the two. But as a check, to make sure it's the right one, put the bottom one on and try and get the bar in. If it's the right one, it'll go straight in. Right, I've just washed all my gearbox off. In fact, I've just been checking if it's warm. Everything's nice and sharp, apart from the teeth. That one's a bit worn. When gears start wearing, they start getting pointy. They still have life in them yet. That one's pushing it, the high gear. That's quite getting there. but there's hardly anywhere in any of this. Well, can't find any. And the bushes and bearings are good, which isn't bad because all I ever put into my gearbox is engine oil. That's all I ever use in it. Right, where are we? Dog end obviously goes into here. And the next one lines up with it into there. And then on that one, to finish it off, would be the high gear. This one's the same. The dog end. And then the two selector runners go together. And that's that. Right. So there's nowhere on the gears, or very little. Cam plate's good, but I did notice this was a bit rough, so I emptied that up a bit. But I've also noticed it wobbles in the casing a bit, so I'm going to dodge some grease on there before I shove it in. Thrust washer, there would be a minimum thickness, but it looks in good nick to me. It's still got the oil grooves. Selectors, you see where they've been touching, hardly anywhere, a bit more on that one. Still life in them, loads of life, and I've mixed them up again. Right, set myself a little challenge here, seeing that this is how most gearboxes will get done. It's dead easy with the engine laid on its side, and if your engine's out, I would recommend to do it with the engine on its side, because gravity's helping you. This way it isn't. I've got the bike, right, I've just put some LM grease on here, and everything I'm going to put together now is going to get a covering of oil. Oily rag job. So I don't want too much grease in there, because it'll hydraulic it out. Right, that'll do. But yeah, there's a little bit of play in that. So that looks alright. Right, I'm just going to use a bit of meths. Now, I'm going to stick the thrust washer on with a bit of Loctite. I'm not using it to take any space up. I'm using it as a glue. When this needle roller goes in, you've got to have it sticking out of this side a little bit for the thrust to rest on. So I'll give my thrust a bit of a wipe off in the casing so they're grease free. I'm just going to put a tiny dot, says me, couple of bits. I don't want none on the front, on the sides or anywhere else, just a bit on the back. Will do. Right, so I've just got a bit of Loctite on, now on the sides. And I'm going to stick it to the case. And press it back hard. Then that Loctite keeps it stuck on. Grease is alright. But little drop of Loctite. Not too much, and you don't want absolutely none on the front. And I'm going to squirt a bit of oil down that bearing and some in the needle roller. Again, I just use engine oil. just a smear of grease on everything, oil on everything really. Now the fun starts. Right, it's going to be a laugh this. Here's the first one. Hopefully the cam plate will stay where it is. I'm going to have to use the main shaft to stop them falling down. But I think I might have problems. So let's see how it goes anyway. So, that in. Now that's in good. So just literally the oil off my hands. I'm just going to slide that in. Just lightly, it doesn't have to go in properly yet. Let's see. The other bits I'm just going to right, with that welding there, is that selector going to stay? Right. Right, hopefully I can get that in. Can't lift that. It's barockied up enough that gear on the main shaft. Right, I had to pull the main shaft out. Right, try to pull that main shaft out a bit, but you can't do it without it in. Now if I can lift that up without dropping it, the back selector up, flat bit inwards. Right, it's into the selector, touching the case, it's in the case. And give it a good wash off, same thing, teeth, nice square edges on them, nice and flat, lovely. Push is good. So, you have that on. And then there's a thrust washer what goes on this side. But again, I'm going to stick this to the gearbox case. That way the keyholes stay where they are. So right, I'm going to put this casing on, which means index in it.